Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital teasers, Liesl Obrecht may make a surprise return to Port Charles. The 2025 Nurses Ball begins on Tuesday, May 20th, and the following days will be full with fun and engaging talent performances, as well as plenty of drama. The promo film for the week of May 19th to 23rd promises a mysterious character who crashes the large party, prompting GH fans worldwide to speculate on who the person could be. Obrecht hasn't been in town in quite some time. After donating bone marrow to save her newly discovered grandniece, Willow Corinthos, she seemed to disappear off the painting. While she returned to town later in 2023, she quickly left again and has since vanished. Having said that, the former villain-turned-heroine was a popular favorite, and viewers would miss her tremendously. Kathleen Gotti, the actress who plays the doctor, has been busy with other projects since her appearance on GH, but that doesn't mean she wouldn't or couldn't return for another brief visit to update fans and loved ones on what the good doctor has been up to. Furthermore, Obrecht has already attended other nurses' balls, thus it is not unreasonable to believe that Lucy Coe would go to great lengths to encourage her to perform at the ball. Consider this. Coe might introduce the following act as a mystery performance, while the event was in full swing, just to reveal Liesl. Liesl enjoys singing and supporting the cause, therefore she would gladly agree to stop into Port Charles to see loved ones and perform at the event. After all, Obrecht has many links to the small town. Many people would be overjoyed to see Obrecht, from Willow, who may need to talk to her aunt and the lady who saved her life, to Nina Reeves, who might use a friend and some counsel from Liesl right now, and her grandson James West. GH teasers remind fans that, as a doctor, does Liesl have any advice or insight into Michael Corinthos' condition for Willow or Carly Spencer? Did she formerly work for a burn clinic in Germany and have contact information for either lady? However, given Nina's chaotic situation, could Liesl offer her any advice? General Hospital spoilers suggest that there will be plenty of stunning happenings in the land of Port Charles. But is Liesl Obrecht's return to the ball among them? Will she return for a short visit or for good? General Hospital spoilers predict that Drew Kane and Nina Reeves will have a red carpet nightmare. So here's why things will get tense before the nurses' ball. It turns out Nina and Drew will be hosting the red carpet festivities together, which will not be a fun experience for any of them. Of course, we have to trust Drew will force his way into this role. Who in their right mind would want a disgraced congressman, who recently made a viral body shot video to host a charity red carpet event? Drew is currently embroiled in a massive escort scandal, so he is not exactly a popular figure in the media. Drew did, however, hold a press conference in which he declared his innocence and stated his plan to establish it was a drug-related conspiracy. It was an attempt to mitigate the harm, and the current hosting scenario with Nina may be similar. If Drew wants the custody battle to continue, he must convince everyone that he is a fantastic family man. Drew may seek to put on a smile and persuade the people to perceive him as a wonderful guy again. Regardless, Drew is one of Nina's least favorite people, so she won't be looking forward to hosting the red carpet arrivals with him. There will undoubtedly be some difficult moments along the way, especially if Drew whispers in Nina's ear about Jacinda's accusations. Drew now knows that Nina approached the councilman while he was with Jacinda. Drew might bring it up with Nina and see if she reacts negatively. Whatever the case, Drew and Nina will undoubtedly press each other's buttons, but they must exercise caution when the cameras are rolling. General Hospital spoilers suggest it will be a red carpet event to remember, so stay tuned for updates on Nina, Drew, and those they will interview. The 2025 Nurses Ball in Port Charles was intended to be a night of glamour, charity, and celebration, recognizing the medical community's dedication while raising funds for HIV/AIDS research. The annual event, held at the Metro Court Hotel, was attended by the city's elite, including doctors, nurses, philanthropists, and longtime supporters of the cause. The stage was set for stunning performances, passionate speeches, and possibly a few surprise romance confessions. But no one could have imagined the surprising twist that occurred when Dr. Liesl Obrecht, long thought to be dead or in hiding, made a dramatic and unexpected comeback, crashing the gala in spectacular fashion. The evening began well, with recognizable faces mounting the stage. Elizabeth Weber, one of the event's organizers, gave a touching opening speech, emphasizing the significance of medical advocacy and community support. The nurses' choir sang a heartfelt rendition of a classic ballad, and even the typically restrained Dr. Hamilton Finn broke a few jokes as he introduced the first round of presenters. The audience was calm, enjoying the festivities, until the lights dimmed, the music stopped, and the crowd fell silent. Then from the rear of the ballroom, a familiar voice broke through, cold, dominating, and clearly Liesl Obrecht's. Gasps erupted as everyone turned to see the towering figure of General Hospital's former chief of staff marching down the center aisle, her piercing stare set on the stage. Dressed in a beautiful but severe black gown, her appearance was both unsettling and surprising. Whispers spread like wildfire. How did she get here? Where had she been all that time? And most importantly, what did she want? The last known location of Liesl Obrecht was cloaked in mystery. Her involvement in several schemes, including ties to the criminal group known as the WSB's Most Sought, had led to her disappearance. Some felt she had fled the nation, while others speculated she had met a tragic end at the hands of her adversaries. Yet here she stood as brash and unapologetic as ever, her unexpected arrival sending shockwaves throughout the crowd. The tension was apparent as she approached the platform, disregarding the muttering and surprised looks around her. Without waiting for an invitation, she grabbed the microphone from a frozen Maxie Jones, her lips twisting into a grin. "Did you miss me?" she inquired, her voice full of cynicism. The audience remained mute, unsure whether to express fear, fury, or unbelief. Then Liesl's demeanor changed. Her demeanor hardened and her speech became more serious. "I did not come here for applause or nostalgia," she explained. "I came with a warning, one that concerns every person in this room." The crowd shifted uncomfortably. What could Liesl Obrecht possibly say to justify such a theatrical entrance? Before she could continue, security approached, but Liesl stopped them in their tracks. "I wouldn't do that if I were you," she said, her eyes gleaming with danger. "Unless you want the entire world to know what General Hospital has been hiding." The menace hovered in the air, confusing everyone. Which secret was she alluding to? Why announce it now, especially at the nurses' ball? As the startled stillness continued, a few recognized faces moved forward. Britt Westbourne, Liesl's estranged daughter, appeared divided between amazement and rage. "Mother," she asked with tight teeth, "what are you doing?" Liesl's expression softened somewhat at the sight of Britt, but she immediately recovered. "This is bigger than family grudges," she said cryptically. Meanwhile, Valentine Cassadine, who had a complex relationship with Liesl, watched on the sidelines with narrowed eyes. He knew better than anyone that Liesl Obrecht never made a decision without a solid cause. If she was jeopardizing her reputation by returning to Port Charles, it indicated something significant was at stake. Before anyone could respond, Liesl unleashed her bombshell. "The hospital's latest clinical trial is not what it seems," she told the crowd. "Patients are being used as pawns in an experiment far more dangerous than anyone has been told." The room devolved into turmoil as physicians and nurses exchanged frightened looks. Elizabeth Weber moved up quickly, demanding answers. "What are you talking about?" she inquired, her voice trembling. Liesl twisted her lips into a knowing smile. "Ask Dr. Austin Gatlinholt," she began, her gaze roaming around the gathering before settling on the man in question. Austin, who had been standing near the bar, froze as all eyes focused on him. His face turned pale, and he hurriedly attempted to refute the accusation. "This is ridiculous," he said. "Liesl, you have no proof." "Oh, but I do," Liesl said, removing a flash drive from her clutch and displaying it for everyone to see. "Everything is correct here. Every deception, every cover-up, every patient whose life was jeopardized without their consent." The room was abuzz with panic as reporters in attendance began clicking shots, sensing a major scandal was about to surface. Liesl did not resist when security closed in. She had spoken what she intended to say. But before being led away, she locked eyes with Britt, her face unreadable. "You'll thank me later," she said softly, barely loud enough for her daughter to hear. Then, with the same regal poise she had in with, Liesl Obrecht permitted herself to be carried out, leaving behind a room full of confusion, fury, and unresolved questions. The remainder of the nurses' ball was a blur. The performances continued, but the energy had switched completely. Conversations were quiet, and the once jovial environment was suddenly fraught with stress. Backstage, medics and administrators hurried to examine the damage, while guests speculated about the veracity of Liesel's allegations. One thing was certain. Liesel Albrecht's unexpected homecoming had not only ruined the 2025 Nurses' Ball, but had also started off a chain of events that would shake Port Charles to its core. Whatever truth she had revealed, the consequences would be felt for months. And as the community waited for the truth to emerge, one question persisted. Was Liesel Albrecht a villain, a whistleblower, or something considerably more complicated? Only time will tell. But for now, the Nurses' Ball will be remembered not for its charity or performances, but for the night Liesel Albrecht burst back into Port Charles and flipped the entire event on its head. The glamour and glamour of Hollywood can disguise the mayhem that occurs behind the scenes, particularly at high-profile events such as red carpet premieres. Drew and Nina's anticipated night of celebration swiftly turned into a public relations disaster, with fans and critics alike raving about their awful performance. The evening began with high expectations. Drew, a rising action actor, and Nina, a popular pop sensation, were about to premiere their latest collaboration endeavor, a film-music hybrid that had been teased for months. The media was anxious to document their every move, but no one could have foreseen the chain of tragic circumstances that would transform their red carpet moment into a nightmare. The issue began when their limousine arrived late owing to an unforeseen traffic delay created by a protest in downtown. Drew and Nina, who were already behind schedule, were noticeably anxious as they stepped out of the car, their fake grins failing to conceal their frustration. The photographers, sensing the tension, began yelling over each other, demanding postures that only made the pair more uncomfortable. Nina, known for her great fashion sense, had chosen a bold haute couture gown that, while lovely, was difficult to handle. As she attempted to move gently across the carpet, the delicate fabric caught on a loose edge of the step and repeat banner, causing an audible tear. The crowd gasped as Nina froze, holding the ruined clothing in an attempt to save her dignity. Drew, who is normally quick to charm the press, appeared surprised before awkwardly attempting to conceal her from the cameras, which just drew more attention to the incident. The wardrobe malfunction was only the beginning. As the pair attempted to recover, a publicist ushered them into the interview area, where a famously outspoken entertainment reporter lost no time in asking probing questions regarding allegations of animosity between them. Drew, known for his quick temper, bristled at the question and responded with a snarky remark that quickly went viral. Nina, seeking to smooth things over, provided a cryptic response that fanned curiosity even further. Social media was flooded with replies, with fans split between pity and schadenfreude. Memes of Nina's torn dress and Drew's defensive glare went viral, overshadowing the project they were there to promote. Inside the arena, things did not improve. Seated among industry rivals who had been involved in previous issues with Drew and Nina, the couple endured whispered comments and not-so-subtle stares throughout the screening. At the after-party, tensions rose when Drew's old flame made an unexpected visit, resulting in a furious exchange captured on many phones and ultimately released online. By the end of the night, what should have been a joyous celebration had devolved into a full-fledged scandal, with headlines proclaiming their red carpet meltdown. In the days that followed, their publicists worked feverishly to control the repercussions, releasing carefully written comments that did little to dispel the suspicions. The event became a cautionary tale in Hollywood, reminding everyone that no amount of popularity or preparation can ensure a flawless public appearance. For Drew and Nina, the night was a brutal lesson in the fickle nature of notoriety, where one blunder can overshadow years of effort. Whether they recover from this tragedy or allow it to build a gulf between them remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. Their red carpet nightmare will be remembered long after the flashbulbs have gone out. Curtis suddenly informed Nina of his suspicions and what Nina already knew. Portia's being blackmailed, he explained. Nina didn't reveal her knowledge of the situation and asked Curtis why he thought his wife was being blackmailed. Curtis explained that all of Portia's unusual requests helped him reach this conclusion. The only thing that makes sense is that Drew has leverage over her, Curtis told me. Curtis was astonished when Nina informed him that Willow's divorce court date was June 2nd. Drew has Willow believing that if she goes after Michael while he's out of the country receiving treatment in a burn unit, it will somehow end with her getting sole custody of her children, Nina said Curtis with a chuckle. General Hospital spoilers and recaps indicate a battle of the blondes. A ruthless congressman threatens, and evidence is discovered that Camila Palmieri was never pregnant. Carly Spencer and Nina Reeves get into an argument. Drew Kane threatens, and Lulu Spencer proves Camila wasn't pregnant. Tracy Quartermaine and Lois Cerullo, Olivia Quartermaine, and Ned Quartermaine have a furious discussion at the Quartermaine estate about their unexpected gathering. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine and Jason Morgan make their entry, as Gio Palmieri surreptitiously listens. Their chat is about the increased tensions caused by the event involving Rocco Falconeri. As they ponder on what happened, Gio jumps in to convey his regret for his terrible judgments, seeking to regain their trust. Lois follows him into the lobby, where he demands that she and BLQ stop rationalizing his acts. Lois refuses to make excuses for him, recognizing that he has outgrown his childhood. He recounts how they helped him as an orphan and empowered him to be independent. He appreciates their previous care, but he no longer needs it. Dante Falconeri clearly dislikes him, and they can't change that. Meanwhile, in the main room, Ned is impressed by Joe's attempts to reconcile. Jason then departs. Dante and Sasha Corbin are talking in the kitchen about Rocco Falconeri. She says he's a lovely kid, as is Danny Morgan. Dante thinks that Danny is decent but may be impulsive, similar to Jason. They talk about Jason's character, noting that he loves his children but issues with discipline. Jason appears, prompting Dante to leave, and then a woman enters and hands Sasha a summons for the custody case. This makes her concerned that Willow may be aware that her kid is Michael Corinthos. Jason reassures her that this is unlikely. Sasha wonders how Rick Lansing believes she can help Willow's case, and Jason explains that lawyers contact a wide range of people. She adds Rick will be disappointed if he expects her to criticize Michael. Dante enters the main room and is told that he is being unduly harsh of Gio. He is surprised by how swiftly they defend him. Olivia points out that he was also a troublemaker at that age. Dante believes the actual issue is that everyone is just talking without doing anything. Brooke Lynn interrupts to remind him of the tough love he had growing up. Dante realizes that his mother's punishments were intended to help him develop. He assures BLQ that she will understand the importance of being strict with children once she has her own. Olivia then approaches Gio and Lois in the foyer. She expresses her admiration for him and hopes Dante will soon understand. Dante is only unhappy because he recognizes himself in Gio. In the stables, Cody Bell shares his doubts to Lulu regarding BLQ's assertion that Gio is her son. Lulu believes Camila lied about her pregnancy, pointing out that she was performing in New Zealand, while purportedly giving birth in Los Angeles. They decide they need to search down the other members of Camila's quartet for confirmation. As they do so, they discover that 2 of them have died. Lulu contacts the surviving cello player to discuss Camila's unexpected withdrawal from the tour without notice or explanation. This incident occurred in May 2003, prompting the cancellation of the New Zealand tour. It turns out Camila was never pregnant, and they receive a photo from that time as proof. In the Aurora office, Drew warns Curtis Ashford that if he is blackmailing Portia Robinson, it must be because of her illegal conduct, which might damage her job. Curtis is worried as Drew describes the potential crimes Portia has committed, and how disclosing them could ruin her life. This might potentially cause huge problems for the hospital, including a major lawsuit, and it could bankrupt Portia and her husband. Curtis rejects this suggestion, claiming that it will not change the scandal in which Drew is involved. He assures that he has everything under control, and that Aurora will cooperate soon. He exits and Curtis records the exchange. Outside, Drew calls Max Scorpio, stating that he knows who poisoned him. Nina arrives at Carly's house, and they have a furious disagreement about the custody hearing. Carly is determined to solve the issue immediately. Nina points out that the grandchildren are also hers and stresses that Carly cannot behave this way. Carly is convinced that Willow will never realize Drew for who he really is, and she feels compelled to safeguard her grandkids immediately. Nina accuses Carly of pretending to collaborate while really conspiring against her. They disagree on their aspirations for their children. Carly tells Nina that she is not a true mother and never will be, causing further friction. Nina refuses to lose another daughter, although Carly says she would make sacrifices for her daughter if she were a decent mother. Nina finds it humorous coming from someone as self-centered as Carly. Later, Carly confronts Willow about her background in Nixon Falls, blaming her for being a bad mother. She believes Willow will blindly follow Drew, but Carly insists Willow is unable to be a mother. Nina notices this and Carly smacks her. They both grasp one another's arms, tumble across the couch, and continue to wrestle in a blonde blur. The wrestling encounter is about to turn even more savage. Nina is going to strike Carly with a scented candle when Jocelyn Jacks intervenes and stops her. Nina leaves in a huff, promising to do whatever it takes to stop Carly. While cleaning up, Carly discusses her plans to seek emergency custody in light of the ongoing Drew controversy. Jocelyn proposes that Carly inform Michael of her decision. Carly expresses anxiety that Michael may lose custody permanently, but she stays steadfast in her refusal to contact him, preferring to handle the problem on her own. Willow tells Sunny in the ball's rehearsal space that she wants to avoid a lengthy custody battle, but Michael insists on removing her children. Sunny admits that Carly has overreached and advises Willow to wait for Michael's return to negotiate a possible compromise. He emphasizes that Michael has stated that he does not desire complete custody. Willow, on the other hand, doubts his readiness to compromise, citing the fact that when she visited, he refused to meet with her. Sunny urges her to let the matter lie and requests a delay until Michael can return to advocate for himself. She accepts this advice. Nina bursts in, her face bruised from the confrontation with Carly, and she is adamant about keeping the children. Willow claims that this event demonstrates the hopelessness of reaching an agreement with Carly. Driven by resolve, she insists that Rick step up his efforts and storms out. Nina and Sunny exchange passionate words about his ex-wife's instability. He cautions Willow that her frantic departure may jeopardize her custody of the children. Sunny confesses that he came to give Willow one last chance. If she loses her children, Nina must accept responsibility for it. General Hospital spoilers for Tuesday, May 20th hint to last-minute ball dates, unpleasant surprises, and a solution to a problem. Cody Bell gets a last-minute ball date, Alexis Davis gets an unwelcome surprise, and Anna Devane finds a solution to a problem. As the nurses' ball begins, attendees, including a llama, descend onto the red carpet with Drew Kane screaming, "It's going to be a wild night." Naturally, Lucy Coe is the one who walks the llama. Jen Sidwell and Jordan Ashford will arrive next. Soon after, Gio Palmieri and Jocelyn Jacks make their appearance together. According to GH spoilers, Lucy will soon be dealing with a crisis. Could it potentially involve the llama? Cody ends up with a last-minute ball date. But it's not really a date because he and Molly Lansing Davis are simply pals. He gestures with his arm and asks, "Would you like to walk with me?" She looks gorgeous in her flowing red gown. There are whispers that spectators might misunderstand Cody and Molly as a relationship, despite the fact that they are only a pair of pals. Others appear to perceive a connection between Cody and Molly that they have yet to acknowledge. Meanwhile, Molly's parents, Rick Lansing and Alexis, are visiting Alexis' house when she receives an unexpected shock. Rick appears to be the root of her displeasure, since she does not look pleased to see him. In fact, she warns him that he may not like how this issue unfolds, most likely referring to the blackmail involving him and Ava Jerome. They are not the only ones who know this secret. Alexis shared it with Lucky Spencer last week. Could this be one of the mysteries revealed during the nurses' ball? Dante Falconeri and Harrison Chase have arrived at the Quartermain house dressed in tuxedos for the nurses' ball. Just then, Lulu Spencer makes a big entry, looking lovely and claiming she arrived just in time. Tracy and Ned Quartermain are also dressed up, staring in awe at Dante and Chase as Lulu enters. Soon they'll be headed to the Metro Court for the ball, which promises to be full of surprising twists and turns. Backstage at the ball, Anna had a lightbulb moment and discusses her views with Felicia Scorpio, implying that she may have discovered a solution to their problem. Anna and Felicia appear to be coordinating on another secret mission. Numerous secret missions are taking place in Port Charles, and some local wrongdoers may soon face legal consequences. While it takes two to tango, Anna is probably not referring to the dance when she joins forces with Felicia. However, this time, someone other than Anna will take the lead on the dance floor. Another scene shows Chase being caught aback by an unexpected phone call, just as he gets at the ball. He should be sweeping Molly off her feet with a dance while Gio serenades them with his violin, but that plan may have been postponed. Surprised, he asks the caller, "You want me to what?" Could this call be related to Drew's recent talk with Max Scorpio, during which he disclosed that he remembered who had poisoned him? The tension in Port Charles had reached a boiling point, and the air was thick with unspoken rivalries, muttered threats, and an unwavering desire for retribution. The so-called Battle of the Blondes had grown from a trivial squabble to a full-fledged battle, with Drew at the heart of the storm issuing threats that shook the tightly knit community. Meanwhile, Lulu, ever the shrewd planner, had finally obtained the proof required to swing the tide in her favor. The stakes had never been higher, and the consequences threatened to be explosive. It all began with a seemingly innocent altercation between two of the city's most powerful blondes, Nina Reeves and Carly Corinthos. What started out as a verbal brawl about business practices and personal betrayals quickly escalated into something far more frightening. The two ladies had previously clashed, but this time, there was a tenacity to their feud that suggested neither would back down. The tension between them was apparent, attracting both supporters and adversaries, each taking sides in a struggle that threatened to consume everyone in its path. Nina, who was usually measured and exact, had spent months strategically positioning herself to weaken Carly's power. She had powerful allies, and her covert manipulation had gradually eroded Carly's authority over crucial areas of the Port Charles commercial environment. But Carly was no fool. She had established her empire through perseverance and sheer willpower. She realized Nina's threat, and was determined not to let her competitor take the upper hand. The two women played a hazardous game of chess, each move more brutal than the last, while the entire town watched in anticipation. Enter Drew Kane. Drew, once a voice of reason, had been tested to the limit. The betrayals he had faced, the secrets withheld from him, and the relentless manipulation by those he had trusted had hardened him. Drew was no longer a mediator. He had become a wild card, unpredictable and deadly. When he learned of Nina and Carly's increasing disagreement, he saw an opportunity, not to mediate but to exploit. He had his own scores to pay, and if their battle offered him the necessary leverage, so be it. Drew's warnings were not idle. He possessed damaging information that, if disclosed, could endanger lives. He made it plain that he wasn't scared to use it, delivering veiled threats in discussions and making Nina and Carly aware that he had the ability to ruin them. His motivations were obscure, but his message was clear. Cross him, and there will be consequences. The once respected hero had become a shell of his former self, consumed by a bitterness that even those closest to him struggled to comprehend. As Drew's warnings loomed over the battle, Lulu Falconeri worked behind the scenes, piecing together the jigsaw that had occupied her for months. Lulu had always been persistent, a virtue passed down from her mother, but this time her drive bordered on obsession. She had been digging, pursuing leads, and requesting favors, all in search of one thing: proof. Proof of the falsehoods, betrayals, and secret intentions that had divided her family. And then, after what seemed like a lifetime, she got it. The evidence Lulu discovered was explosive. It connected dots that others had overlooked, revealing a labyrinth of deception involving some of Port Charles's most influential figures. With this proof in hand, Lulu had the ability to demolish the carefully crafted facades of those who had harmed her. But the question remained: what would she do with it? Would she use it to pursue justice, or would she wield it like a weapon like Drew did? The Battle of the Blondes was no longer limited to Nina and Carly. It had turned into a broad struggle, involving Drew's vendettas and Lulu's search for the truth. The distinction between comrade and enemy became blurred as each participant fought for power. Friendships were tested, loyalties were called into doubt, and trust became an unaffordable luxury. As the tension rose, Port Charles residents prepared for the inevitable explosion. Whispers filled the halls of the Metro Court, rumors traveled through the hospital corridors, and even the normally unshakable figures in the police department appeared on edge. Everyone knew something major was coming, but they didn't sure who would be left standing when the dust fell. Drew's threats grew louder, his once subtle insinuations becoming outright declarations of war. He had made it clear that he was no longer interested in following the rules, and those who stood in his way would suffer the consequences. His change from hero to adversary sent shockwaves across the neighborhood, leaving former comrades scurrying to get away before being caught in the crossfire. Meanwhile, Lulu's finding weighed heavily on her. She had spent so long searching for the truth, but now that she had it, the responsibility felt overwhelming. Revealing what she knew would upend everything. Relationships would crumble,